This is Matt for Into Boxing. I am delighted to be joined by one of, if not the greatest of all time. You must get that introduction every time you do an interview. Roy Jones Jr. Back in the UK, how are you doing?
Doing good, enjoying the UK as usual.
Brilliant. You're here in Cardiff, big fight. Chris Eubank Jr. goes against Liam Williams. It's what we call a good old grudge match back here in the UK. What do you make of the back and forth between the two over the past sort of 18 months? It's become a little bit more personal.
Well, I like it because when it's personal, it makes the fans gets the fans excited. The fans get to get involved. Yeah. And anytime you get involved with the fans, it's a really beautiful thing. So I like the fact that they're giving the fans something to look forward to. When you give the fans something to look forward to, that's what boxing is all about. These are definitely some of the best boxing fans anywhere in the world.
The UK boxing scene's on fire at the minute. Coming back to what you just said, how important is it that you sort of keep Chris away from the talk and make sure that he's fully focused on the job in hand, which is to beat him in the ring and not to get too involved in the whole back and forth?
Well, as you see, he don't do a lot of talking. I mean, he talks very calmly. He says what he says. He's very direct with his quotes, and he's done with it. So he knows he's very professional with what he's doing, and you have to love that about it. So you don't have to really tell him nothing. He already has an understanding of who he is, what he has in front of him, what he has to do. So my goal in life is just to make it as smooth for him as I can.
Has this given you sort of, not a new lease of life in boxing, but bred into you, I don't know, a different motivation, the fact that you've got a guy like that who's in the condition he's in and you can sort of implement some of the things you know to try and see if he can do it in the ring? Does that give you a bit of a buzz?
Yes, definitely gives me a lot of purpose. Yes, I love it. So it makes me happy, it makes me proud to get up every day to see how much more I can teach him, you know?
What's the biggest improvement that he's made since he's been with you? He mentioned spending a lot of time with you back out in the States. We know what his attributes were before he was with you, but what have you seen in him where you go, you know what, that's been a bit of growth, that's what you've done better?
Patience, left hand work, and knuckles.
And what?
Knuckles.
Yep.
Using his knuckles. Patience, left hand work more, and using his knuckles when he punches.
How impressed have you been with how much he's taken on board and how attentive he's been to listening to you? Because one criticism of him, which I'm sure everyone knows, is that he's had trainers, doesn't really listen, does his own thing. But it seems different with you. It seems to, when you say something, it goes in and stays in. Have you been really pleased the fact that how well he's adapted to that?
Yes, I've been very pleased with it because I heard all the talk before.
Yeah.
But the thing about me is, if I tell you something you're not going to listen to me, I'm not going to stay and keep telling you. So I'm not that guy that's going to tell you and listen to me tell you and you don't do it. But to my surprise, when he came, he listened to everything I told him right away. So I never had that problem. I wouldn't expect him to, but I just, you hear people talk, but that never happened to me. So for me, when I tell him stuff, he tries his hardest to learn. Even when I have to sit there and go through it and show it to him. And that's the good thing about me is that I can not only tell it to you, I can demonstrate. So that's a big difference. Most people can't. Or I can even go pull you up a fight for him and show it to you. Most people can't do that. So why would you listen to somebody who can't show you that they're better than what you are already?
Yeah. And let's be honest, when you talk about people to listen to, when you've achieved what you've achieved, if he wouldn't listen to you, who would he listen to? Do you know what I mean?
Nobody.
Exactly.
But it's not that he don't listen to nobody. He only listens if you can show him something that he didn't know, or something different, or something better than what he knows. If you can't show him anything different, why should he listen? He knows that. Why should he listen to you? That's how he feels.
Another big name on this card, someone I've been looking forward to meeting and watching fight live, Claressa Shields. She has been an ambassador for women's boxing. She's taken it on to a different level. Two-time undisputed champion of the world. She looks like she's heading towards a huge fight with Savannah Marshall over here. Talk to me about the effect of Claressa Shields and what she's had on women's boxing, what she's doing for the culture of boxing.
Well, it's not just her. Katie Taylor and Serrano are all doing a big thing because with Katie Taylor and Serrano fighting, that's a big fight, a massive, biggest women fight I think in the history so far. And then it's one with Claressa and that's going to also be a big fight. So it's just Claressa doing big things, but they're all doing big things, and they deserve credit for what they're doing because they come from a place that people normally didn't want to see. Now it's becoming very interesting to watch them. Like this Taylor Serrano fight is really going to be big, and when she comes back over here and fights the other girl, that's going to be big. So,
what do you think of Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano in Madison Square Garden? Huge headline. It's a great fight. What do you think from a trainer, ex-fighter's point of view when you look at that? Who do you see winning that?
Once again, it's a tough take for Katie because you're going into Serrano's backyard. Serrano's from New York. And Serrano's a hell of a boxer. So it's going to be hard, but I mean, I know Katie going to apply the pressure, and it's going to take a lot of the pressure to beat Serrano, because if you don't apply the pressure, she's going to box you to death. So Katie has to apply the pressure. And it's a great fight for both of them, because whoever can fight their fight is going to win the fight. So if Serrano can make it a boxing match, she's going to beat Katie. But if Katie can make it a dog fight, she can beat Serrano.
Absolutely. Right, two more. Dillian Whyte's finally got his chance against Tyson Fury for the WBC World Heavyweight title. He's been wanting it for years. Looks like it's going to happen. Frank Warren won the purse bid. Break down that fight for me. That's a terrific, for us domestically as well, the build up, everything else. That must be, it's a huge fight. What do you think about it? I
think it's a beautiful fight. It's the kind of fight that we want to see in the heavyweight division. It's a classic boxer versus a classic puncher. Who, once again, like I said with Serrano and Taylor, who can fight their fight? Because whoever can fight their fight is going to win the fight. And those are the best boxing matches. See, I don't want to see the Fury Usyk fight, because they fight the same fight. It's just a big guy and a little guy. So we're not expecting a knockout. We just expect that the big guy, his finesse is going to work better than the little guys, because he's bigger. But when you have Whyte and Fury, now you got a classic boxer and a classic puncher. That's what makes beautiful fights. Or if you got guys like these two are fighting Saturday, two guys who can box and two guys who can bang, that also makes for a classic fight.
Absolutely. And the final one, we have got Anthony Joshua. Looks like he's going to go into this rematch with Alexander Usyk. We saw what happened the first fight. Joshua looked kind of bamboozled by the footwork, the skills of Alexander Usyk. What does he have to do differently in this second fight? A lot of people just say, just go straight ahead, but it can't be just as simple as that against someone as good as Usyk.
It's not as simple as going straight ahead and wreak havoc, because Usyk is going to be wreaking havoc too, but you just got to change the way you fought and change the thought process. The thought process is most important.
What do you think he has to do, though, technically, in the ring, as a trainer? As a trainer,
I can't get out of the way.
Would you be? I was always thinking he's going to be looking around, asking the questions. Has he ever reached out to you, advice or anything? No,
I reached out to him actually, but I didn't get that back, so I left it alone.
Oh, so you actually reached out to try?
I tried to reach out to them, but they never really. I got a message that said, contact my team. I'm not doing that. I reached out to him and try to see. That's the message. I don't know who sent it, but I'm not doing that. But I did try to reach out to him, because I believe that with a few adjustments, he can beat Usyk. But we got to make the right adjustments. Nothing guaranteed, but I believe he could.
Wow, very interesting. Look, Roy Jones Jr., it's been an absolute pleasure for me to talk to you. Thanks for talking to Into Boxing. And yeah, just before I go, are you coming back at all? I keep forgetting. That was on my mind. We saw you against Mike Tyson. It was great to see you do your thing again. You loved the occasion. You still love this game. Are we going to see you have a move round again?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to, but I don't know.
Any more music to come out?
Yeah, music coming out. I got around Body Head Bangers Volume 2 is coming out now. I got 2 singles out and another one coming out next month. One's called Do It Big, one's called Y'all Must Have Forgot Part 2, and the next one I forgot the name of it, but it'll be pretty good too.
Right, guys, check out that, one of the greatest of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Never Turn My Back, that's the third single. Never turn my back. I never turned my back since this boxing game. You understand me? And what it say? I can't think how it goes now. These hands have a show with it. Something like that. It's cold though.
We've not just got an interview, we've got a few bars from the man himself as well, Roy. Thanks for talking to Into. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.